Thank you all for joining us for the New Year, New You coaching series. Let me first introduce you to Danielle. Danielle grew up in Vancouver, BC. She sources joy learning about human behavior and having fun with her 12-year-old son. As a coach, she enjoys working with young adults to help them discover what lights them up and makes them happy.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Danielle and I live in BC. I live in Victoria, BC in Canada, and I'm a mom. I have a 12-year-old son. I have a day job, and my day job is as a registered massage therapist here. I've been doing that about 15 years. I have spent a lot of time in my life in university. I was one of those perpetual students and I loved learning about all different things. So that's been a big part of me is really broadening interests in many, many areas. So I've hit middle age and I decided to take on this coaching program to explore other interests and see what else is there.
What coaching has provided for you that you didn't have access before?
Yeah, so coaching has huge value to me. What I hadn't realized is the one piece that I really needed was the accountability partner, that little push, and someone who was able to tap into some of the ideas that I had. And I didn't know where to go with those ideas. I didn't even know they existed until coaching. Until my coach asked me those key questions that helped me reveal what I actually wanted out of life, especially in the areas in life that were less than 10s, less than a 10 out of 10. That's somewhere I really have benefited from coaching so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends who ask me what coaching really is, right? Because to them, coaching is no different than just a person, maybe a mentor or, therapist to ask you questions and listen to your stories. And you mentioned about the ideas, the inspirations. Can you maybe touch on a little bit of how coaching helps you generate the ideas or generate the intuitions?
So one of the best parts I've found of coaching is coaching is more of a chisel. Coaching is a little more specific, less looking into the past, less review of your life in the past, and more of chiseling into what's important to you now and what would you like to make happen now. And then the coach becomes the accountability partner in creating those action steps. And one of the analogies I've used is much like a child. I think we're domesticated with this accountability early on. So much like a child would clean their room and come out and say, Mom, come and look, I cleaned my room. So that accountability, I think, is drilled into us early on. We lose that when we become adults. Who do we show our achievements to at some point? So a coach is a person that stands with you in your story and holds you to your action and keeps encouraging more. What else is there? What else is there? I think what else is one of my favorite coaching questions, either for me or from me. What else? Because it taps into the sort of hidden caverns in our mind of, what else there is, and then we end up spooling a whole bunch of other ideas. So ideas tend to generate more ideas. We dive a little deeper. We chisel more toward the center of, I like to say the center of the onion, as opposed to peeling
the onion, but you get to the center.
Yeah, sometimes we use peeling the layers of the onion, which can be a little bit of a slow process. I tend to like to chisel right to the center and say, like, what is it about this person that is holding back or protecting or preventing that forward action? If you're not sure where you want to go next, but you know that something needs to shift in your life, working with a coach is a great way to chisel down to the center of what actually matters to you. That's a really key piece that coaching creates. And I mentioned creating because I really believe we're all creators. So in 2021, what is it you want to create in this time in your life? Who you are being now, is it still an accurate representation or expression of who you are. I think going back to the analogy of the locomotive on the tracks, we tend to stay on our tracks because everything is working.
Mm.
And don't rock the boat, right? To add another piece. But at some point, those tracks become quite uncomfortable and they're not working anymore for us. So how do we step off those tracks and create something new? And one of the best ways is, well, what do you want to create? What do you want to feel? What do you want to experience in life? Who are you now? And that's the really big question is your current life an expression of who you are now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned accountability multiple times, right? And I often hear my friends are saying, but we are adults and we know what to do. So can't we just hold ourselves accountable? Why do we need a coach to hold us accountable?
I think I touched on this a little bit, but as far as, yeah, as adults, I don't think we hold ourselves accountable. We are both judge, jury, and soother, as in, well, I'll do it by tomorrow. Oh, I didn't do it. And if we don't do it, we forgive ourselves. And after, 200 days of forgiving yourself for not getting the job done, life hasn't shifted very much. In fact, you've solidified the tracks that you're on. And, there's been lots of jokes about, I woke up 10 years later and this was my life, ? So I think a coach is a person that shines a little light on the, a common coaching phrase is what, by, when. So what are you going to do and when are you going to do it? And by when are you going to do it? And it moves us into that that action step because we have someone to show our actions to. Otherwise, we're pretty quick to forgive ourselves, I think, if things don't get done.
Really interesting point.
Yeah, to follow through. Otherwise, there's I think even as adults, we need carrots. We need something to reach toward. And a coaching partnership really reminds you of what's the big carrot here? What's the big prize? What are we actually working toward? And coaches remind you of what's that carrot? Oh yeah, right, what's the carrot? It's not just the single action today or the single action in the next week or a few weeks. It's the big prize here at the end. And coaches hold that one up and remind you what you're working toward.
That's awesome. And you talked about the carrot. Is that your life purpose or is that your value, your goal? What is that carrot in your mind?
Yeah, carrot. I suppose in my mind, it's an energy presentation, as in, how do I want to feel? It's often a feeling, I think, that we are seeking. We're seeking to feel a certain way in life. And I'll speak to my own experience. So for me, it's energy. I want to feel energy in my life. Okay, how are you going to get there? Because one walk, one day won't quite get you there. But if you make all these incremental changes along the way, you are leading yourself toward a life with more energy. Yeah, and the carrot is different for everyone. It's usually in one of the realms of life, such as the wheel of life, where you look at all the different parts of your life: money, health, work, family, relationships. There's about 7. And you can evaluate which parts of your life are working and which parts of your life are less than a 10. And I think those ones tend to be the greatest sort of shift toward the big prize at the end. It's a great place to look.
Can you tell us a little bit of what type of coaching that really energize you, and who do you enjoy working in the space?
Yeah. So one of the groups I really love working with, groups of people, is youth, young people who are just on the brink of adulthood. So I think at that point in life, our inner compass is still set to pleasing others. And we have all kinds of different things coming at us as far as information to make life choices, because all of that is the unknown. We have had little experience at that point, young adulthood, So we try to, and we have a desire to make the right choice the first time. And it doesn't always happen. Ask anyone in middle age. You know, we usually bumble our way through those years and try several things. So something I would love to work with is young adults on the brink of their next steps in life. And again, chiseling down to the center of who they are and what actually lights them up, what makes them happy, what gives them that source of creativity. So that's yeah, that's one of the populations I'd love to work with.
That's awesome. What would you say to someone who are considering coaching, either for themselves or maybe for their kids?
I would tell them to check in with themselves. Ask yourself if the current expression of you is all of you. Because this is a dynamic experience. Often the decisions we made in the past have led to our present state. Is this still an expression of all of you? Often, I think we try to make a perfect choice about here's who I want to be for the rest of time, but we don't know that person yet because we haven't even met that person yet. They're way in the future. So really, they're choices for our present moment, and check in with yourself to see if the current expression of your life is all that you are.